The promotion finally came through. The raise hit your account, and within 3 weeks, you bought the car you didn't need, picked a fight with your partner, and started browsing job listings for positions below your new title. How many times have you stood at the edge of everything you said you wanted, only to find a way to step back? You tell yourself it's stress, it's imposter syndrome, it's just adjusting to new expectations. But here's the lie you keep repeating. I'm not ready yet. I need more time. I'll handle success when I'm more prepared. No. You're not procrastinating success. You're terrified of who you become when you get it. In the next 18 minutes, you will understand exactly why your brain sabotages your wallet the moment it finally fills. And more importantly, how to stop escaping the very thing you've been chasing. But first, let me tell you about someone who sat exactly where you are now. Marcus was 32. He had just crossed 6 figures for the first time. Not through luck. Through 5 years of 6-0-hour weeks, missed birthdays, and learning skills that made him invaluable. The notification hit his phone on a Tuesday. $104,000. He stared at the number for 10 minutes. Then, he did something that makes no sense. He applied for a job at a startup that paid $75,000. He told himself it was about work-life balance. It wasn't. It was about staying in the familiar pain of striving instead of the terrifying uncertainty of arriving. He sat in my office 3 months later, confused and ashamed. I don't get it, he said. I spent my whole life wanting this. And the moment I got it, I started planning my exit. Here's what nobody told Marcus. The problem wasn't that he didn't deserve success. It wasn't that he had imposter syndrome. The problem was that his entire identity was built on the struggle, on being the underdog, on the story of the guy who was trying, and success threatened to take that story away. This is where most people get it wrong. They think self-sabotage is about fear of failure. It's not. It's about fear of identity loss. When you've spent decades being the person who wants, the person who strives, the person who almost has it figured out, actual success feels like death. Not because you don't want it, because you don't know who you are without the wanting. A 2019 study from the University of Zurich found something disturbing. Researchers tracked lottery winners and promotion recipients over 5 years. The majority reported initial happiness, followed by a crash below their baseline. But here's the part nobody talks about. 34% of participants engaged in conscious or unconscious behaviors that reduced their new status within 18 months. They made bad investments. They quit jobs. They destroyed relationships. The researchers called it status self-regulation. The participants were protecting their old identity by destroying their new circumstances. Think about what this means. The very success you think will fix everything is actively threatening the person you've learned to be. That anxiety you feel when things go right, that's not imposter syndrome. That's your nervous system detecting a foreign environment and trying to return to homeostasis. Even if homeostasis was misery. Marcus didn't buy the expensive car because he was irresponsible. He bought it because the payment created a new problem to solve. He picked the fight because harmony felt like a trap he couldn't escape. He applied for the lower-paying job because $75,000 came with a story he knew how to tell. $104,000 required a new script, and he hadn't written it yet. But here's the revelation that changes everything. You don't sabotage success because you're broken. You sabotage it because success is lonely. The people who cheered for your struggle often resent your arrival. The identity that earned you love becomes obsolete. The problems that defined you disappear, and you're left with a terrifying question: who am I without my problems? Common advice tells you to visualize your goals, to create vision boards, to repeat affirmations about abundance. But here's why that fails. Your brain doesn't need more pictures of success. It needs a bridge between who you are now and who you become then. Without that bridge, every achievement feels like stepping into an empty room. So you run back to the crowded chaos you know. Let me give you 3 specific techniques, not theories, practices that create that bridge. The first is called the identity expansion, not replacement. Before your next achievement, write 2 pages. Page 1, who you are now. All of it. The struggle, the story, the skills you built fighting uphill. Page 2, who you become. Not what you have, who you are. Then find the thread that connects them. Maybe you're still the underdog, but now you're fighting for something bigger. Maybe you're still the learner, but now you're learning at a higher level. You're not abandoning your story. You're advancing it. I know how that sounds. Like journaling your way to wealth. But this isn't about manifestation. It's about survival. Your brain will reject success that feels like death to your identity. The second is the pre-mortem conversation. Before the raise, the promotion, the windfall, you choose 3 people. You tell them exactly what you're afraid of. When I get this, I'm worried I'll spend it all. I'm worried I'll push you away. I'm worried I'll find a way to lose it. You give them permission to name it when they see it. Not to save you, just to witness. The shame of self-sabotage lives in secrecy. Exposure kills it. The third is the success schedule. Most people plan for failure. They have backup plans, safety nets, exit strategies. Almost nobody plans for the moment after success. What will you do the first Saturday when you don't have to work? Who will you call when you can't complain about money anymore? What will you think about when the problem that organized your life is solved? Schedule the answer. Literally. Put it in your calendar. Sunday morning. Figure out who I am without the hustle. The vacuum creates the backslide. Fill it intentionally. You might think this sounds good in theory, but your situation is different. Your success is earned, not luck. You won't mess it up like those lottery winners. You're smarter than that. Here's what happens when you believe that. You miss the early signs, the unnecessary argument the week after the good news, the celebration purchase that costs 3 months of the raise, the subtle withdrawal from friends who knew you when you were struggling. These aren't accidents. They're rehearsals. Your nervous system testing if you really want to stay in this new place. And if you only did this for 30 days, you would notice something shift. Not in your bank account, in your tolerance. You would feel the moment you start creating a problem to solve. You would recognize the familiar relief of a new struggle and pause before stepping into it. You would catch yourself telling the old story and choose to tell a new one just once, then twice. Let's get concrete. It's Friday. The bonus hit. $8,000 more than expected. Your old pattern says, celebrate, upgrade the phone, book the trip, buy the thing you've been wanting. Not because you want it, but because spending it proves you have it. Then Monday comes. The money's gone. The anxiety's back. The familiar ground of, I need to earn more, feels like home. Here's what expansion looks like. You feel the urge. You recognize it, not as desire, but as fear of stillness. You open that document. Page 1, the fighter who earned this. Page 2, the steward who manages it. You find the thread. You're still fighting, but now you're fighting for longevity, not survival. You move $5,000 to a place that takes 48 hours to access. Not because you can't touch it, because you want to know what you do with the urge when you can't immediately satisfy it. You call one of your 3 people. You say, "I got it. I'm scared I'll find a way to lose it." They say, "I hear you. I see you. That's all. But wait, there's a trap here you must avoid. Don't use these techniques to become someone who doesn't enjoy success. That's just another form of sabotage. Don't turn abundance into another form of restriction. The goal isn't to hoard. It's to stay present with having. To let the having change you slowly, instead of rejecting it quickly. Think about the last time you got exactly what you wanted. The raise, the acceptance, the recognition. Remember the hour after, the day after. The specific moment you found a way to diminish it, to create a problem, to look at the next mountain instead of the view. Feel that pattern. Now imagine that moment interrupted, not by willpower, by recognition, by someone saying your name, by you saying, "I see what I'm doing, and I'm choosing to stay here instead." Here's what I want you to remember long after this ends. You are not afraid of success. You're afraid of success without a story, of having without earning, of being without becoming. But the becoming doesn't stop. It just changes shape. The fighter doesn't die when the fight is won. The fighter chooses the next fight, or chooses rest, or chooses something you've never imagined because you were too busy surviving to dream. The sentence you need to remember 1 year from now is this: I am allowed to arrive. And arriving doesn't mean I'm done. It means I finally have the resources to find out what's next. Before you go, I need to ask you something. Think of the last time you got what you wanted and immediately started wanting something else. What were you really running from in that moment of having? Drop your answer in the comments below. I read every single one. If this resonated with you, if you felt that uncomfortable recognition, hit the like button. It tells the algorithm this message matters. And subscribe, because next week we're diving into why you spend more when you're sad and why you never notice until it's gone. See you then.